Hello everybody and welcome to Tech for Teaching. On this episode I'd like to show you guys a little bit about an app that I use called ClassDojo. This app is really good to give feedback to students and their parents. And as you can see on the screen, you also have the option to include your school there. And that would include admin and counselors in on this as well. So I know I'm doing this on an iPad right now, but on a PC or on a phone or something, it would look very similar, and they do have those options available. So the first thing you would want to do is add your class. It's not that big of a deal. You just type in your class, the grade, and who you want to share your points with. So let's get out of that. I'm going to show you guys the class demo right now to kind of give you an idea of what it's about. So let's click class demo. And it's going to open up a fake class. Now, I did not make this, but it includes Beyonce Knowles, Denzel Washington, Jennifer Lopez, and so on. Here you can see you can encourage the class as a whole, or you can give feedback to the class as a whole, or you can give feedback to individual students. Now, up at the top, you have two options. You can look at them in individual students like we are, or you can click on groups and move to groups. And I'm going to show you how to make groups here in a little bit. So let's go back to students. And let's say the entire class did really good today. So I think everyone in the entire class was on task. So I click on the class. It opens it up. I'm going to be in the positive section, and I'm going to click on task. Notice how that gave everyone in the class a point. Okay, so these students are really trying to get as many points as they can. Students are really like that. I guess it's like growing up with video games and sports and things. They like to get points. So it gives them a number at the top. And let's say I noticed Jennifer did a good job today. She worked together as a team. So I click on Jennifer, and then I click Teamwork. And you see that little green 1. It's going to add 1 point to her score. So it went from 4 to 5. All right, now you can give out an award to like the top 2 kids who have the most points or something, but let's say Denzel didn't do something good. So I click on Denzel, go to Needs Work, and I'm going to say that he was unprepared. Watch what happens to his score. It's 3 right now. It drops down to 2, so you can also remove points from their score as well. I generally like to just use this as positive encouragement, but if you want to go there, you can. Let's say Denzel, well, let's quit picking on Denzel. Let's go with Justin. Click on Justin. Let's say that Justin answered questions. Well, notice there's not really, I guess participation would be one, but let's say he cleaned up the classroom. Let's go with that. He cleaned up our class. So I don't have an option for clean up the classroom, so I'm going to click Edit Skills. And notice on the bottom left here, there's Add Skills. So I'm going to click on that. So let's say we wanted to give him a new skill for cleaning up the classroom. So when you click on Name, let's type in Cleaned, as in he cleaned up the room. So we're going to leave this point value as a positive one. Later on, you'll see that if it's a negative thing, you can make it a -1, 2, 3, or 4. So I can't click Create Skill until I click the question mark up here at the top, and it will give me a bunch of little emoji-looking things. So let's pick the one that looks a lot like he cleans something. I don't know. To me, it would be this tree. I don't know. I guess I think of nature and cleaning up trash outside, but let's just say that's what we want to use to represent cleaning up the classroom. So I click on the tree, click Create Skill, and now you can see on the top left that cleaned is an option for us now. So since he cleaned, I am going to hit Done on that, and Justin gets a point for cleaning. All right, you can see at the top, Justin Timberlake got a +1 for cleaning, so that's good. That's how you edit skills. So now let's go to Leonardo, I guess, and let's go to the Needs Work section. And I had already made one for unprepared. They don't even give you these options at all. Like, they don't give you preset things to click on. You have to add all of the Needs Work section, which makes sense because, like I said before, you generally don't want to use this as a negative reinforcement. You want to use it as a positive reinforcement. But let's say some of you guys out there want to add some negative things. So I'm going to click Edit Skills on this, Add Skills, and let's just say bad communication. Let's say they didn't do a good job working in a group. So bad communication, the point values are now negative because we're in the needs work section. So I'm going to click -1. You only lose 1 point for that. Now this is kind of interesting because when you click on the question mark to add your picture, most of these pictures are happy, and that further reinforces the idea that this should be used as a positive reinforcement. So I don't know what I'm going to click for bad communication. Let's do Band-Aids, I guess, because I used a thumbs down on the other one. And let's create skill. All right, so now we have a thumbs down for being unprepared and Band-Aids for bad communication. So I'm going to hit done because I'm done editing, and now Leonardo has the option in the needs work section for bad communication. So I'm going to click that, and Leonardo lost 1 point for bad communication. When you're done with your time frame, whether that be the class day or the class period or an entire week or a month, whatever it is, you're able to click on the student. So let's click on Beyonce here and click on report, and you can see what you've given Beyonce throughout this time frame. So I can see that I've given her 2 points for being on task. Okay, so if you wanted to go back and look at the history of the points that you've given them, you can. So let's go back to this. If you look to the right of report, there's an option to redeem. So I'm going to show you what that does. Let's click on that. It will pop open Beyonce's points here. Now, if you click plus, it will add points that's being removed. If you click minus, it will remove points. So let's just leave it the same option they have. Let's say lunch with teacher. All right. And when we click redeem points, Beyonce loses that point because she got a reward that costed 1 point from her total score. So if you want to use this as kind of like a thing that they use to purchase things, such as lunch with teacher, front of the line, extra resource time, recess time, then you can do that. Now, if you look in the top right of this screen up here in the top, there are 3 dots right underneath my battery symbol. This is kind of important, so I want you to see what this does. I'm going to click on the 3 dots, and that's going to open up a bunch of different things. And if you see here, you can connect parents there. You can connect students to this. You can add co-teachers if you have a teacher's aide, or if you want to put your principal on there. You can also take attendance, but this is really important here. If you click reset points, it will reset the points for the entire class. So that way you can start over if you wanted to see who had the most points that day, and then the next day happens and you want to do that again, you can reset their points right there. Now you can see through there everything else that you might want to touch and click and look at, but I'm not going to go through each one of those for the sake of, this video taking too long. All right, now this is kind of cool too, because at the bottom you can see that I have a Toolkit section. So when you click on that, let me reload it here. All right, so when you click on that, you have got multiple things that you can use throughout your class. And I know some of you guys have been needing things like a timer. And I'll show you what random is. This automatically makes a group. There's a noise meter. So I'm going to click on timer here and show you what that is. Click on 15 minutes, or seconds, I mean. So we have a 15-second timer. All right, so they have an embedded timer inside of ClassDojo for you to use. So let's go back to our tools here. Well, it took me all the way out of the class. Let's click on Toolkit. Let's click on Random. Randomly chooses a student. So if you need somebody to help you or help clean up the class or something like that, you can randomly choose a student within your class using this toolkit. All right, at the top right, I'm going to click the X button to close out of the random section. Now I'm going to show you what the group maker does. So click on Group Maker. It asks you how many students you want per group. Let's say we want pairs. I'm going to click 2, and it automatically makes groups. Now we have an odd number of students, so Jennifer's left out. So if we didn't want that to happen, we can click X out of that, go back to Group Maker, and let's choose 3. So now we have at least somebody with a partner. And now we're going to look at the noise meter. Now, yeah, the noise meter does not work on an app like this on my iPad at least. So on a computer with a microphone, this should work fine, and it'll have a little meter that tells you when your students are getting too loud. All right, click the X button. So now let's go over to directions and click on that. I have one called coloring already started, so I'm going to click the pencil to edit it. If you didn't have one started, you would click new. So to color, I'm going to click add item here. The first step is add item. So let's say get crayons. All right, there's step 1. Let's say step 2 is going to be get paper. All right, so this is all on the board for the students to see because you put it on your projector. And we're going to click Start Now. So there you go. You got get crayons, get paper. And that's going to be projected up on your board, like I said, so students can see that. So let's exit out of that. And now we're going to go to Think, Pair, Share. All right, so we're going to do a new Think, Pair, Share. And write out a question or topic you'd like students to discuss with their neighbor. Let's say, how much do you exercise? All right, question mark. And we are going to start now. So your students will see this displayed, how much do you exercise, on the board, and they can think, pair, share. All right, let's press the X button to close out of that. I'm going to show you one of the ones they made. What are you grateful for today? So they also have pre-made ones for you to use. So some of these teachers of younger grades may want to do that and leave it on their board for maybe a bell ringer or an exit ticket. So let's go back to the class. I accidentally clicked that. Let's go to the Toolkit. We're going to go to Today. All right. Now we're going to click on New. And you can share daily announcements and a welcome message. So let's just say, hope you have a good day. And we're going to click Start. So that can be left on the board as well. And students and parents can see that. So I'm going to hit X to exit out of that. And now I'm going to go into the music section. Now, I'm not going to play this music for fear of copyright on YouTube, but it has some music that can play over your speakers while you project this app that is more peaceful. You can click on the focus section of music. If they're up, moving around, and doing things, you can click on the active. So just click on there, you get a little boom box, and you can hit play at the bottom, and you can hit right or left to change between these songs. So now that we've finished the toolkit, we're going to pop over to the stories. I'm going to click on stories, and you can invite parents to your ClassDojo. And if you guys have children that are in daycare, you're pretty used to this. You can add updates kind of like Facebook or Twitter or something like that for parents to see. And if you notice in the middle here, we have a camera. And I'm not going to start that camera, but you can enable that camera and take pictures of the students' activities and send them to parents through this stories section. Okay, so that's pretty neat to make sure that parents know what their children are doing during the day. So let's pop over here to messages. Now, you can send messages to individual parents too. So if it's something that you need to tell the parent, you can just send it to the parent without having to send it to the entire class through the stories option. Now, as you can see here, I do not know Beyonce Knowles' parents or Denzel Washington's parents, so I'm not going to be able to show you that. But if you just invite them to the ClassDojo, you can send individual personal messages to the parents of these children. All right, so I hope that helps you out in your classroom. If you want to see more cool technology like this, please hit the like, comment, and definitely subscribe to my channel because I will be showing you different little apps like this to help you with your classroom. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll be back.